Well, we've been talking a lot about tonight, women and sexism and everything. I gotta say, part of me, I think, would like to be a woman. Just for the simple, just for one reason, really, because women can do one thing that men just really cannot do in social situations. If they ever want to get out of a vent, if they want to stop, seeing anybody at all, if they want to just leave completely, all they have to do is just say, I think I'd like to go. Why? Women's problems. Oh, yeah, go, seriously, go. It's fine, really. I kind of just want to do that anyway, even though I'm not a woman. Just be like, Steve, this party's okay, but I think I want to leave. Why? Men's problems. Steve's just there going, what the hell? He's really questioning everything. What are men's problems? Should I be having men's problems? What are... It's quiet. But yeah, I've recently broken up with my girlfriend. Well, actually, yeah, it's it was really her fault because she was just did not like to be tickled at all. I like to tickle. I'm a very touchy-feeling person. I just tickle her all the time, and she did not like it. She just no, and she'd get angry. She's like, no, and finally, just last week, she said, no, okay, it's over. I can't deal with the tickling anymore. She broke up with me over tickling, but it's okay. I'm in a new relationship now. His name's Elmo. A lot of people think it wouldn't work because I'm a man and he's ginger. But it does. It works somehow. But let's give it up for the next guy coming up here. He's a new guy, Greg Heaton. Give it up. Round of applause, everybody. Woo!
So I didn't know that I was going to be performing tonight, but actually I guess I ended up performing a bit earlier when that guy asked me what I studied. I study economics. Does anyone else here in the audience study economics? Okay, we got a few people. So you understand the idea of cost minimization then. Well, the way I ended up coming here was the girl on the door told me that it was 3 pounds unless I performed. Hence, I'm standing up here. You there, one of the other economists, what year are you?
First.
Okay, how are you liking first year?
It's alright, yeah.
Okay, who's your lecturer?
In economics?
Yeah.
Some Italian or Manzini.
That doesn't really narrow it down. Anyone who's ever, stepped foot near the economics building is aware of how many Italians there are. There are more than one. My lecturer last year, his name was Manfredi Lamanna, and my lecturer this semester, his name is literally Fabio. It's an economics department. They know a lot about international finance, moving money to different places where it may not be able to be found by, say, the government, and they're all Italians. I'll let the facts speak for themselves. Anyways, it is sometimes a bit hard to be a comedic economist. Economics is called the dismal science for a reason. Although there is a rising trend in my beloved profession of trying to make it more accessible and entertaining for people. Anyone know the book Freakonomics? Yeah. It's fairly popular. Does well in the book markets. how couldn't it with chapters like why is the Ku Klux Klan like a group of real estate agents? The answer may surprise you. And actually, the American Economics Association has a humor session at its annual conference. And for example, there was one economist, he did a presentation based upon the 2000 Orgasm Survey. And this is a survey of orgasms that took place in 2000, not a survey of 2,000 orgasms. Apparently, one of his conclusions is that level of education is positively correlated with a person's propensity to fake ecstasy. So, you know, it kind of makes me question what it is I'm doing here, really. You know, and also, especially the women here, I guess once you leave, your love lives may be a bit less satisfying. But, you know, I wish you all the best with that. As for what else I can talk about, because I am making this up on the spot, I quite liked Merlin's comments earlier about, you know, how hard it is to be a lefty. It is hard, I'd imagine, especially when you're a lefty who studies economics and hangs out with lefties. And I was at the protests earlier today that he was referring to, and the coming up with chants is difficult. You tend to recycle a lot of chants a lot, and it's even harder when you try to come up with raps protesting whatever it is you're protesting that somehow has to do with economics. You know, things like, you know, when prices and interest all start to rise, they elect a new leader to tell you new lies. And so, some other people in the audience who might not be economists, for example, yourself over there in the red shirt, what do you study?
Physics.
Physics.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you think is the humor in the physics market pretty good?
Not really.
Lies.
Anyone?
That's a shame. Do you think that there is are there many physicists who do stand up?
No.
Yeah.
As you can tell, this is the consequence of doing stand-up when you've never done stand-up before and don't know that you're doing stand-up. Is a lot of awkward pauses. So feel free to insert insults, calumny, and other, you know, assaults on my character whenever these awkward pauses come along, because that will give me something else to talk about.
Insults. Rude insults.
Did you all hear about the a scandal that apparently broke recently at the Federal Reserve? I'm sorry to talk about economics so much. That's really all I know. But so apparently the recent financial crisis happened pretty much the day after a major Mexican drug cartel was found to have withdrawn somewhere on the order of almost $1 billion from its accounts with banks like Citigroup, etc., which were in turn heavily invested in by Bear Stearns and whatnot. And apparently, this correlation is the amount of money that they withdrew is almost, you know, varying within a few $1 million or so, the amount that this bank ended up shortfalling, which apparently means that our financial system is dependent upon cocaine, which is, I'm not sure if that's a comforting thought or not. It means at least that our money is being backed by something. It also means that perhaps we should consider the prospect of appointing Charlie Sheen to governor of the Bank of England.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he'd do much of a worse job than anyone else. And Did anyone else hear the, what's something that's happened recently?
Yeah, I heard that one.
And here in St. Andrews, St. Andrews is a lovely place, and I quite like being here. Being here over the past 2 years, it seems that it is simultaneously a place where you can be left alone and yet not be left alone. And what I mean by this is, you know, we think we're in, you know, a quiet Scottish village, accepting the incessant sound of fighter jets flying over our heads. But because St. Andrews is so isolated, it seems to develop its own, like, internal drama, scandals, and just issues in general. So, for example, I noticed that our States Department apparently is neglecting their own safety and the safety of others on a fairly regular basis. They were leaning over the roof of the Buchanan building, like just the other day. Just today, they were, you know, like tap dancing, basically, on the roof of the Buchanan building, which is something that I've found out on multiple occasions is something that they don't exactly approve of us doing. Yeah, don't go on the roof of the Buchanan building. It may cost you up to 300 pounds. Don't say you heard that from me. Also, don't put heaters in your room if you live in Fife Park. They don't like that either. They will declare that they intend to charge you 50-pound fines, but usually actually don't, or at least once they didn't. Once again, don't say you heard that from me. I'm waiting for an insult or some kind of assault to my character.
Stupid hat.
Freebird.
This hat. Does anyone have any guesses about where I might have acquired it?
Pre-ball.
France.
Your mom.
Forest.
Toilet store.
eBay.
Anything? What you acquired from my mother is nothing compared to what I acquired from yours. But anyways, this hat. Going back to this hat. I actually found it on the street in St. Andrews. And I have come to the conclusion that St. Andrews is is a very interesting place in regards to what you just find lying around on the street. I mean, you can find a lot of clothes in St. Andrews, you know, it's a considerable portion of my wardrobe just found in St. Andrews, and I'm not ashamed to admit that to the folks assembled here. But you find a lot of hair ties as well, and other things of a more questionable nature. You know, underwear that has apparently been scissored in half.
We've all been there.
And speaking of underwear, a friend of mine told me about apparently in the States, we're very Christian country, and there are a lot of groups there that try to promote the idea of abstinence until marriage. And to promote this idea, they are developing a line of underwear. And this underwear, you know, has on it things like, you know, stop, or wait, or not yet, honey. And I just think to myself, imagine if I were to, like, you know, undress a girl or whatever and see that. Would my response be, okay, or would I just think, this is really turning me on? I'll let you all come to your own conclusions about that, because, like I said, I didn't even know that I would be performing, never performed stand-up before, so I'm going to end my own misery.